A tradition unlike any other. The first day of NFL free agency, acting like the first reported numbers are the real numbers.
It's crazy, huh?
Greg Rosenthal writes, you don't have to parrot Christian Kirk's agent's talking points. The guarantees will almost surely be 2 years and under $40 million. Now, his contract that everyone has seen has a max value of $84 million with a $20 million signing bonus. So it's 68, maybe over 4 years. And if he were to play the full, 4 years, we're talking about a very high average annual value potentially. Well, we are, regardless of what that ultimate number is. The question is, as Evan says, Christian Kirk got paid, implications for Deebo. My first reaction was there are no implications for Deebo. Deebo's not looking at Christian Kirk's contract. Deebo's looking at, Julio Jones's contract and Nook Hopkins' contract and maybe Amari's contract, right? Do you think Christian Kirk signing does anything for Deebo's market?
No. Christian Kirk is like a good 3. I mean, maybe a 2. Maybe. I don't view him necessarily like that, so I don't think it has any impact. But I also think it's not as easy of a situation. I mean, the names that we use and Deebo's going to use, all of them have resumes. Like, ultimately, when Hopkins got his first contract, like, he was good immediately and was sweet for a couple years. Right? Devontae has now been punching the clock. I mean, punching the clock for like a half decade. Right? I mean, these guys, Julio, when he was fucking Julio Jones. AJ Green, like, came in the league, started kicking ass and taking names. Like, it took Deebo a minute to get to. He was good toward the end of his rookie year in the Super Bowl run. Second year did not go well, and last year was incredible. But, like, I don't feel great paying guys off 1 year incredible. Like, it's pretty clear. Bosa got to the NFL, immediately dominated, was going to be even better his second year, tears ACL, comes back, continues to dominate. If Bosa is on the field, he will dominate, right? You can break Bosa off, Joey Bosa contract, add 5%. No issue, right? I don't even think it's much of a negotiation. Like, that's what you want? Cool, let's do it. I think the Deebo thing's a little complicated. Because I just see the wide receivers who Keenan Allen, they just put in year after year. To me, if Deebo had done this back-to-back years, I'd be like, yeah, he kind of got the Niners by the balls.
Yeah, and also
I'm not
if
even
you were
calling him a one-year wonder. Like, I'd expect him to
know.
keep playing at a high level, but
also if you were a
nervous.
first rounder, you might not be in this position right now, right? Because he'd have 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
So that also complicates it, that he plays like a first rounder immediately. And he wasn't.
Well, Bosa's 3 years in, and he's a first rounder.
That's
right?
true. That's true. Deebo wasn't that far off from a first rounder, but I think the primary issue is the thing you said, which is we've got 3 years of Deebo Samuel, one of them being extremely healthy. The first year, he played most of the season.
Yeah.
But if I were the Niners, Mike, and you told me you get that year out of Deebo Samuel again, then you would have no problem giving him 60. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say no problem. If you told me that's just what you get again, and not even maybe quite that, right, in terms of production, but just you got Deebo every week is just a threat and he produces for you, then you would give him $60 million guaranteed.
In a heartbeat.
And the thing is, he just did that 1 year, so he's going to want $60 million guaranteed, which I understand him wanting it. Like, to me, if you're the Niners, why can't you say, we're going to play it out the way that Green Bay just did? And you're not going to want to play on the tag. And the question is, do you, as you pointed out to me before the show, unlike Deebo doesn't quite have as much money banked as Devontae has banked at this point.
But Devontae was a second round pick, and then he signed and then he signed a very, very team friendly deal.
But he hadn't been as good by year. Was year 3 his breakout year?
Yeah, I think so. So Devontae, first couple years, 38 catches, rough rookie year. Even a second year guy, 50 and 1 touchdown. Third year, 75 catches, 12 touchdowns, and he's never looked back.
And so what was that contract?
That was 2016. So did he get paid going into? I'm trying to look when he got extended. When did he? Do you have his contract?
No, but I could find it right here.
Devontae Adams signed a huge not a huge, but going into his 4th year. So at the end of his 4th season in the NFL, before he hit free agency, they extended him December 29th. So they made him earn it a little bit. Could the Niners pull that? Times were a little different, 17 than it feels like now.
So he signed 4 for 58, 30 guaranteed.
Yeah, and he's seen every penny, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think. Would you sign that contract if you were Deebo?
No.
4 for 58 with 30 guaranteed, 24 guaranteed at signing.
So he's basically been making almost 15 a year for the last 4 years, which immediately, like 2 years in, became underpaid because he didn't just maintain his greatness; he got even better. Now, one thing that happened to Devontae is that after 17, so he has his breakout year in his junior season, basically. His senior year, basically his last year on his contract, he goes nuts. 74 catches, 10 touchdowns. So he's at back-to-back 75, 74. He gets paid. He comes back. Well, it's like, is he going to be content? Best year of his career. 111 catches, 13 touchdowns after getting paid. So then he's immediately underpaid, and then he's had 3 straight years of – he had 83 the following year, but he played 12 games. 115, 123, 18 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns. I mean, he's a top 5 non-quarterback in the league probably, right?
Yeah. And look, if the Niners – let's say the Niners did not have a hard line with Deebo, get pushed around by Deebo's agent. They consummate the deal. They capitulate. And they give Deebo $65 million guaranteed, $63 million guaranteed, right? Which is not the way the Niners work. But let's just say that happened. And Deebo then came back and had the year he just had. No, it wouldn't. It would be like, okay, whatever. It worked out, right? It's working out, right?
Yes.
The problem is the Niners, there's got to be something in the back of their minds that just goes, how could we run him through that same season again and he doesn't get hurt again? Like just playing him the way they just played him? Forget about the previous 2 seasons. Forget about the previous 2 seasons, John. What if he played the way they just played him?
You know what Devontae Adams doesn't do? Run between the tackles.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like part of what makes him valuable. Internet's being a little funky. Am I gone? Are you gone?
No, good on my end.
Part of what makes him so valuable is that he does that he's dangerous. That he does things that are dangerous, right?
Yeah. Scary. He's a unique player, and I think it gets very, very complicated because he plays running back.